Are you guys fine with the iDocs now? Do you guys understand like how the iDoc works? How do we post the iDocs? Then how do we process them in SAP? And I will again repeat, the moment you go for the loads in SAP, it's not like you will go and it will get loaded. There will be so many errors and we have to get those resolved. Everybody is fine with the iDocs now? Had when we were starting, someone had the issues like, hey, I was expecting you to complete do the sales order loads as well. It's not like that, you know. If you know how to configure one iDoc, then even if I help you today with the sales order, tomorrow you can have the purchase order in your projects, right? Day after tomorrow, you can have pricing, you can have bill of materials, internal order. So we cannot go through each and every iDoc. The main motive of this training is to help you to understand like how we can configure these iDocs BAPIs, and the moment you have some new iDocs for your projects, you should be able to do it. Now I understand there are some objects which involve like the what do you call that, GL accounts or asset balances, you know, those finance objects. There we need to take the help of the, what do you call them, these data owners or functional consultants. For example, if I want to load the GL balances, I cannot straight away go and get the GL balance from my legacy and load it to my target. No, it doesn't happen that way. For GL balances, you need to understand what is the main account, what is the what do you call that? One is main account, one is recon account. So if someone remembers it, Manoj or Ram, is it one is the normal account, right? GL account. Oh, sorry, offset account. You know, whenever we go for the balances, you know, it's not like whatever data you are getting from the legacy, you go and push it to your S4. No, you have to understand over there is a term called offset account and GL account. For example, you are trying to load balance plus 100 to S4, then your plus 100 will go to your main account, and you have to create one more line item, minus 100, to the offset account, so that ultimately plus 100 and minus 100 is zero. Otherwise you cannot load this data. That is how SAP works for financial objects. Again, I would say more you play with these iDocs and objects, you will be better with each passing day. I work for more than 11 years in SAP now, but I still haven't, I'm to say, worked on all the objects that are in SAP data migration scope. There are these objects range from 40 to 140, 120 objects. So I don't think anybody will be there who has the mastery to load all the objects. Someone is better in master data objects, someone in transactions, someone in CFIN. It depends, but ultimately, if you know how to load using the iDoc, how to load using the BAPIs, then it's easy. It's okay. There's a concept here and there, like for the GL balances. You can cope up with that. But the basic thing is you should be able to load data using the iDocs, BAPIs, LTMC. You should have the basic idea, like how we do it. I hope I'm doing justice to that part. Now, what we did yesterday is like we reconciled only the Mara part, right? We extracted Mara, and then what we did, we created a report on Mara. Now we will do the same thing for MAKT. But you know, I will keep these two data flows in series. Why? Because I don't want to again use this Mara and join it. I already have the data inside this STG Mara recon for the 17 or 14 material that got loaded. Now I will use this instead of again using this Mara. The reason being, always try to use your HANA Studio tables. It's very fast, like to move data from HANA Studio to HANA Studio another table, right? This table is getting connected to some other system. It's slow. So it's always better if you keep on working with these tables. The data is mostly remains in the cache. If it's less than 50,000 records, it usually remains in the cache, you know. So it's very easy for BODS and the server to migrate or to move data from one HANA Studio table to another HANA Studio table, because this is within its parameters, right? Within its boundary. The moment we take these tables like ECC table, we take S4 HANA tables, it becomes a bit hectic for the server. That's the reason we always land the data from these tables. Like I will land it from ECC and then work on these tables just to make sure I do it one time and then my jobs run a bit faster. If you go here, you can see like this is usually in the cache. If the record count is like up to 50,000, mostly these records are in the cache memory. So it's quick for BODS to extract or migrate data from this table to this table rather than from this to this. Okay, let me now use this table and I want to do the same thing for MAKT. DFEXT underscore MAKT. As of now, we have only Mara and MAKT. Going forward, we'll be having Mara, MAKT, MARC, MVKE. So you have to create a separate report for Mara, MVKE, MARC, MAKT, and then at the end, you will join these tables with and then create a consolidated report like I'm doing here. I will just get this Mara so that I have the unique materials that I loaded. Query Mara. Now TF underscore EXT underscore MAKT underscore S4. Now let me get this. Let me dump it here. Let me do query Mara. Let me save it once. Let me join it. There is some issue with the system. Finally. Let me get these distinct materials. And then let me get MAKT from here now. MAK. I don't have it. Let me import by name. MAK. Okay. Query MAKT. So what I loaded is Matner Stras MAKTX because MAKTG is just a uppercase of the MAKTX. So I will be only getting these three. Then I will join it with this query join. Let me get these three. I would suggest to whenever you have to use a join between two tables, always have one more query upfront before the join. You know why? Because if at some later point of time you need to change the tables, then you don't need to fix the joins as well. If I directly connect this here and I connect MAKT directly to this table and just do a join, I can still do that. But say for example, I want to now change this source table later on. You know, in that case, you can just do a schema remapping. If you do schema remappings, then what is the obsolete schema? What is the new schema? You can select and all the mapping will be corrected. But in such cases, if you directly connect these to the query join table and directly join it, it becomes very difficult for me to correct the errors. resolve the errors. So I would suggest you, whenever you have to use the joins, just have one more query. It will add some task, but it's okay. It's worth doing it. Now I have this. What I will do next is I will get my MAKT enrichment data. This is my enrichment data now because I have to do a 1:1 check. Now this is my MAKT. Query match. Let me get this here. Let me get this here. And then I will join it based on Matner, right? This Matner will definitely be equal to this Matner now. And I will also use this language. Why? Because for MAKT, both material and language SPRAS, they are unique. Sorry, they are primary keys. If I only use Matner, then there's a chance a cross join might happen. It will give me inconsistent data. So I know Matner and SPRAS are the primary keys. So I will join based on both the keys. Now this will be my legacy, right? Let me get it. Then I will name it as leg. Now this is my target. Now let me compare. I won't write this again. So let me go back here, copy one. This is Matner match. Let me copy it from here. Go back. Control V. Okay. Cross means there is some error and we need to resolve it. Okay, this is Matner match. What is the okay? I will be Matner underscore. Okay. This is ECC S4. I need to do leg Matner. Okay. Sorry. I did something like there I did Mat. No. I won't do this. I will change the names. For MAKT, we have done ECC S4. Here I'm doing Mat target and leg. Let me change it. I'm sorry. This is ECC. This is S4. What I'm trying to do is I'm now trying to compare the descriptions as well. We have already done comparing each and every field in the reconciliation report for MAKT Mara table, header table, or basic data table. Now I want to do the exact same thing for description. You have Marcy, you have to do for Marcy as well. If you have MVKE, you have to do it for MVKE as well. No, I'm doing. See, this is for Matner, right? I will now change the names. Like I just wanted to make my life easy, like copy pasting the field. Now I will change it. You can then give them. I'm going to say uh, three different reports: one for Mara, one for MEKT, one for Marcy, one for MVK. No, I am validating each and every column, whatever I loaded. You see, now even for
Hmm.
MEKT, I am validating it. Matner and Spras will match
I got it.
because we have to do it. What was the field name? MEKTX. MEKTX. Okay, now I'm done here. STGMM underscore MEKT underscore recon. I'm done. I will just dump it. Now you can either leave it here or you can go a step ahead and you can just join these two tables to give them a consolidated report. It depends on you. If you want to give them Mara separately in a sheet and then MEKT separately in a sheet, it's okay. If your business asks you, no, I don't want to check two sheets at a time, give me both Mara and MEKT. A material is description, its plants, its sales org data in a consolidated sheet, you can still do that. We will join it in the next data flow. Let me run it as of now. Please do not load anything that is half cooked data. You will always load everything or nothing. You see, no, if you give them a
Yeah.
consolidated error file, na, it's very difficult for them to correct the errors. Trust me. If you have error at Mara level, give them an Excel file with sheet Mara invalid, Marcy invalid, MEKT invalid. You you should not load that particular material. Like, see here, I'm doing select from Mara. I know Mara is my header. I will not keep anything in Mara if anything is failing in MEKT. Same query you will keep for Marcy, MVK, MARD. Don't load
Okay.
anything which is incomplete. If you load a material master with 6 descriptions in source, but you are only loading 4 in target, that's incomplete data because of
Okay.
some validation errors, right? So don't load anything that is incomplete. Always have things like this. Delete from
Okay.
valid
Got it.
Mara table from all the invalids. As of now, you have only Mara and MEKT. If you have
Mhm.
Marcy as well, you will simply do like this. Marcy. Suppose you have MVKE as well. You will simply do
Okay.
like this. So
Yeah.
what will happen? If anything is an invalid MEKE, MVKE, you will keep on deleting this unless and until everything is passing. You will not load the material. Simple. You will not
Okay.
load half-cooked data, right? I will personally
Okay.
always go for everything or nothing. Either everything is
Okay.
passing and load it, otherwise don't load it, because there are some objects where you can load a material and then you can load something and then you can
Action.
update it, right? You can
Yeah.
update it, not extend. You can update it. Trigger the same IDOC again. You shoot the data again. The material number will get updated. But what if the number range is now internal? You will create half cooked data in the first instance. If you go for this load again, then you are creating a duplicate record. So it's better you load everything or nothing. query Mara unspecified name. Why? What is the unspecified name here? See the error. Okay, no error. Perfect. Then let me run it. You can leave this recon here, or if you want to go a step ahead, that's better. Actually, 2 steps. I will show you. I want to check MAKT now. Okay, now I have 216. Why? Because I have multiple line items for this 14 material that I loaded. If I do a profiling on this, okay, if I want to see how many distinct materials are there, let me do this. You see, 17 and 17. So for my 17 materials, how many line items I have? 216 line items. You see, everything is matching. Your material is matching, your language is matching, and you are, see, for this, there is an issue with description. You see, in ECC, the data is something like printer with remote control. Now here it's getting loaded as MTS pipe PD something. So there's a mismatch, and we will check all these cases with the. You see, there is some Chinese character. Here it's getting loaded as something else. Here the data is coming as something else. So we need to check all these cases wherever the data is not matching. Now you can leave it here, or you can create a consolidated report. How to create a consolidated report? Simply see, we tried to load this, but it's getting loaded as this, right? Then we will check the root cause. It's like we will connect with a functional data owner, or we will check why this data is getting loaded. What we would do first step is like we will go to the IDOC and we will show them, hey, we gave this exact same data that is coming from ECC. I agree, buddy, but maybe this has been loaded by someone else earlier. You see, Mara, I am getting this. No, you see, buddy, we tried to load 14 only, right? See, we restricted those 17 records at the load time. We loaded 14, right?
Yeah.
So these 4 records have been loaded by someone else. We didn't load it, but it will still show up because this is present in our enriched data. I will go back, sir. See, when we did the load here, you remember we restricted it. We only loaded WGW%. It means whatever is starting with WGW, we loaded there. Only 17 records were there, right? Then out of 17, 14 were loaded. 3 failed, 14 loaded. We tried to load 17 records. But now we are restricting it at the load part. But it's these some records are already present in the enriched table, right? I have 699 records. Ultimately, how many records I have in enrich? 699. I only loaded 17. I tried to load 17, 14 loaded. Now, when I'm trying to join these two tables in my reconciliation, whatever data is present in target and whatever data is present in my enrichment table, it will match up. It means somebody else loaded this. We didn't load it. That's the reason we are getting these records. Because we loaded these WGW 101, 102. See, buddy, we can do that. It's okay. Let me do that. You want me to do it like this? Wait, at the enrichment part, where no, it's okay. You do it from here or there. It's an inner join. WGW WGW percent. Just for the sake of my simplicity, I only loaded WGW percent, right? Otherwise, all 699 materials can join with Mara because Mara, somebody else loaded those three materials. It's okay. Now, if I run this again, I will only get 14 now. Why? Because now even at the reconciliation report part, I am keeping WGW. We will get 14 now because we loaded WGW 14 only. 3 failed to load. We already created that report here in load stats. Hey, 14 are failing. Now, if I see this table, it should only have 14. You see? Because we loaded only WGW. Now, if I go to my MAKT, it will not have these. It will only have 196 now, starting with WGW. And for that, everything is matching. You see? If I want to see if anything is a mismatch, I will right click and profile. No, everything is matching. So whatever we intended to load, it got loaded. Everything. Earlier, what was happening? Some three materials were loaded by someone else, and he loaded something else description. That's the reason it was not matching between source and target. We were getting a mismatch. If this happens, we will go. But okay, now suppose there's a mismatch. What we will do? We already have this WGW 108 in the IDOC, right? In the R key. We will go to EDIDC. We will search for R key WGW 108, and I will open the MAKT segment. I will show my functional consultant or the data owner, hey buddy, I'm exactly passing the same data. I don't know why it's getting changed in S4. If you can show him this detail in your IDOC that I'm loading exact data from ECC, our job is done. Then he will look out for the configuration or why this error is happening. For that, you need to show him, hey buddy, I'm sending the exact same data that I'm supposed to send. See, for example, let's suppose it's a mismatch. Now your functional consultant will ask you, hey, why is this a mismatch? So what I will do, I will take this, I will go to my EDIDC, because in my EDIDC R key, I have the material number handy, right? In case there's a mismatch, how will you, I'm to say how to save ourselves. I'm showing you that. Let me go here SC16. Then I go to EDIDC. Now I know what is the R key. Yeah, someone has a question? Yes, sir, please go ahead. Now I already pushed this WGW 108 to the R key field, right? By doing this, I can now say, okay, this is my 53, this is the IDOC number. What I will do, I will go to /OWE02. I will open this IDOC. Let me open this now. I will show him, hey buddy, this is WGW 108, and these are the line segment that I have sent. For example, we are assuming we have an issue at R, right? Suppose I tried to load 150-200, it got loaded 150-2000. I'm just giving you an example. So what I will do, I will check for R segment. This is E4WD5P FJ. Okay. See, this is R. Then I will tell him, hey, buddy, I'm sending the exact same data. The only thing is maybe someone later changed this data, or he can then check if someone changes this material description, or he can, if no one changed, then he will look out for the cause of this issue, why the data is getting changed. You understand? I'm just giving you a scenario. If the mismatch is happening for anything, you will straight away go back to the IDOC and show him, hey buddy, I'm sending the exact same data that is coming from ECC. If we are able to show him this detail, we are saved. We don't care after that. Then it means either two things: system is getting this data from somewhere, from some config, even though we are passing the correct data, or somebody else changes data later on. It's not our concern. It is the concern of the config guy or the data owner to look out what happened. Our job is done because we are sending the exact same data. You guys follow me? How to backtrack it in case it's not matching, or someone is raising a question, hey, why this is not matching? Exactly, I will show you that. I will create a consolidated report because I don't want my business data owner to check two sheets. Matner, then he will go to some other sheet, check description. It doesn't make sense to me. So what we will do, we'll create a consolidated report. Let's do that. And then I will show you how to create a consolidated status as well. Now I will do something like this. ext or something like consolidated report. Let's do this. Let's keep Mara. Let me keep MAKT. Now let me get query Mara. Let me get query MAKT. Let me get this data here from this table. Let me get this here. Query join. Now here I can use an inner join between two tables, Mara and MAKT. But it depends whether you have, it depends on your understanding whether you have to go for the inner join or the left outer join now. Why? See, for material, all the material, there will be description every time. So we can go for inner join. But there can be a case like, for example, now I'm trying to join plant data as well, Marcy as well. For some material, there can be a plant extension, but for some material, there cannot be a plant extension. So I cannot now use an inner join with Marcy. I have to use a left outer join, because whatever is at the header level, it should come to my report. If it has a plant extension, it will come. If it's not having a plant extension, it will come as null for the Marcy table fields. So it depends, right? If you want to then join MVKE, some materials can be extended, some cannot be extended. So it cannot be inner join every time. As of now, I'm keeping an inner join because I know for all the material there will be a description. ECC is equal to this ECC. Now from Matner level, I will just get this detail. Then from this, I don't need Matner anymore. I just need these four. And then I just want to order by my Matner ECC. Let's do this, and then let's do Stras ECC. I just wanted to order it. Okay, now you can straight away dump this into a table, or you can have one layer extra. I will show you. Query overall status. Okay, so what you can do, you can just dump this data here, and then on top of this, let me have z underscore overall status. This has to be varchar. Now it depends how deep you want to go. You can either leave two reports, or you can consolidate report and dump it into a table file, or you can do the Z overall as well. So what I will do with Z overall, if then else, I will check all the statuses. If Matner is matching, match, and I will check all the fields in a single go and give it a match. Otherwise, if any of the fields is not matching, I will name it as mismatch, so that my data owner doesn't need to go to each and every field, just to make his life easy. Matcal means VPSTA VPSTA, then I will check this, then I will check this. If all these are match, then I will say this is a match. If any of these fields is a mismatch, I will say overall it's a mismatch. Just to get a consolidated status, I will compare all these statuses. If everything is a match, then only it's a match. Let me dump this STG consolidated material recon. I dump it. Oh, okay. I dump it here. Then I can again use this flat file, and I can, okay, let me create it. As of now, I'm showing you, I'm creating different flat files, but we can even have one flat file and control the names using the script. I will show you how to do that as well. Material consolidate this, then let me keep it in the downloads or documents. Let me keep the file name ff underscore material underscore recon dot txt. Then it will be a tab separated, then skip row header no, and write row header yes. Save and close. I will just use it as a target and dump it. Now let's run this. Okay, you see, MAKT is too large. Can someone tell me why, what caused this issue? What did we miss? If anyone wants to take
I
a
think
hit,
it is not
why?
on character or varchar.
Exactly, buddy.
And varchar.
Yeah, we missed it here. You see, you might have some data in the mock loads, it will run, but in the production, it might fail. So it's always better to keep this and varchar to change the setting. Okay, this is done. Let's now see the consolidated report. You see, now it's telling me overall mismatch. As expected, everything is a mismatch because this P stat is a mismatch for everything. Now suppose they tell me, hey, we don't need this P stat, you can just remove it from your scope. See, P stat is a mismatch everywhere. And this is VPSTA, PStat and VPSTA. Yeah, PStat, VPSTA, PStat and VPSTA. They tell me, hey, we don't want to keep this in scope. You can remove it from your migration scope, right? Then what I can do, PStat and VPSTA, I can simply do something like not applicable, PStat and VPSTA, PStat, and you will not load these fields now. The moment you are configuring your IDOC, you will just map null to this PStat and what was the second field? VPSTA. Okay, because they don't want it to be in scope. And I will also remove this VPSTA and VPSTA I will remove, and then PStat. Where is PStat now? Okay, this is PStat. I will remove these two fields. Let me run it again. We are just trying to make their life easy. And us as well, otherwise they usually data owners take a lot of time to validate these reports. It's better you make their life easy and they validate these reports quickly, just to make sure we close these objects. You see, now everything is matching, and I'm just keeping a pstat as not applicable. It means it was not in our scope. So when you remove this in your scope, right from the extraction, you will just keep this pstat acc as null, or and you will remove this from your reports. As of now, I'm just keeping it, but the moment someone tells you, hey, this is out of scope for us, you will remove it from your preload reports, postload reports, and you will just not map it in your idocs. Or simple, if you have already done your coding, then simply in your transformation job, just make this pstat as null, so that you are loading null. Whatever is happening in the target system, it happens itself because of configuration. So you're not loading it. So now you're just trying to make their life easy. Now they don't want to go to two sheets. They don't want to compare each and every field. They can just come here, check this overall status. If this is a match, if this is a mismatch for anything, then they can try to find the root cause of that. Other than that, it's easy for them to validate these reports. If I go to documents, then I have a material recon report as well. Simply copy this and put it into your Excel and send it to your business. One is this one, and the second one is the status. Sorry, not status, stats. Where is the stats? This is the stats. Now you will tell them, hey, I loaded. Success is okay. They don't care for success. Success you are anyways covering in this sheet, right? They don't care about that. But you will at least send them this sheet. Hey, this material is failing, this material is failing, this material is failing, and you will tell them the error message as well. As of now, I couldn't get error message from EDIDS. That's the reason I'm not getting statxt from EDIDS. Otherwise, I will again send this doc number to EDIDS table and get statxt column. So this completes my end-to-end data migration process. It completes my iDocs. I want to now focus on the BAPIs, LTMC, and maybe a recap for information stewards, and that would complete the course. Now let me show you. For example, let me take an example of this material consolidator. Okay, so I will not go there and create for material. I will create these many files. For vendor, I will create files. I will keep on creating files. Then I don't want to do that. Usually I will create 3 files. One is, see, creating these many files is like a beginner. We don't want to do that. I will not go and create files for each and everything. So what I will do, ff preload success one file, give a location. Say for example, I want to locate it here. This will be the location. Not even the location. I don't want to give the location. Wait. Okay, just a moment. Let me give. Okay, let's keep it in the docs. Okay. And then let me do something like dollar global variable underscore. Where is dollar now? Dollar global variable underscore. My goodness. Dollar global variable underscore preload. This is dollar. Okay. Now I will just keep it like this, tab, and then I will write a row header, right? This is the normal procedure. The only thing is I'm just using a global variable here. You can even use the global variable for the location. Why? Because in your mock 1 there can be a location 1. In mock 2 you can change the locations, right? So you can even do this for location. You can keep a global variable, but I want to focus on file names as of now. Now what I can do in my recon job, this is preload success. Let me create one more just for the sake of understanding. ff underscore post load recon. I will always use the same flat file now for all my objects. Let me keep it inside documents. Okay. Now here I will name it as not post load success, post load success file, right? Then it will be tab and it will be yes. Now let me close it. Now let me for preload success you will define that here, and for your reconciliation file, post load success file, post load fail, post load success, you will define it here. Let me define this global variable now. This is my no. This is my. I'm going to use a post load success file here. Varchar. Let's keep it 400. I don't want to give it any value. Okay. Now let us assume I want to create files for all three. So what I can do is, let me delete it. But keep it in mind, you cannot use the same file when the data flows are in parallel, because you cannot access the same file in three different, what do you call this? Three different data flows at the same time, right? So if you want to use this global flat file, then whenever you are accessing this file, those data flows should be in series. It will open it here, then close it, again open it, close it, again open it, close it. If you try to keep them in parallel and use this post load recon simultaneously in three different data flows, it will throw you an error. Just we saw with the when we were extracting data from the Excel. You cannot keep the Excel open and then try to get the data. Excel is open somewhere, it cannot again get opened and then you can extract. Same is the case with these files. So what I will do, I will say script underscore Mara. Now I will just change the global success this to ff underscore Mara underscore postload dot txt. Right? I'm only changing the names now, but ultimately I will use the same file. Here what I will do, I will name it as MAKT now. MAKT. Now what I will do, just get it here, target, dump the data. Get the same file here, target, dump the data. That's the reason I'm see, this file is nothing. This is a template. That's the reason I'm changing the names here, right? It will just replace this file, postload.txt. It will not replace MAKT and Mara. That's the file. It will replace the file. Exactly. I don't want to keep on creating these postload success and postload like MAKT, MARA, LFA1, LFBK. I have to create so many files then, maybe 2000 files. It's better you just create 4 files: preload success, preload error, postload success, postload error, and then keep on changing the names using the global variables, using the scripts. Now, what I can do, let me delete these. Okay, let's run the job again. And if you are worried if my file should not get replaced, right? Then there is again a way to do that. I will show you. Wait. You are worried if my Mara is there. I don't want to remove that. I want to keep a backup. Okay, fine. You just need to add a timestamp. That's it. Concat the timestamp and we are done. You see? Now I have 3 different files. This is for Mara, this is for MAKT, and this is for consolidated. This is how you can use the global variables for the files. Now what Ram was trying to say, see, if I run this again, these 3 files will get replaced. What Ram was trying to suggest is, like, these 3 files will get replaced. What if he wants to take a backup? He wants to have the backup. He doesn't want to remove these files. Then what you can do inside these scripts is you can add a timestamp. What you can do is, for example, you can do something like this. Then you can do, let me remove this post load. Then you can do something like to underscore char system sysdate, right? Sysdate, and then you can use this, then dot txt. Okay, what is the issue? To char sysdate what? Why DDMM. I think this is how it's expecting it. Okay, let's see what happens. Now MAKT and Recon should get replaced, but Mara should stay there. Let's see. Because now I am adding a timestamp. Now the system is also adding this timestamp over here. I'm adding date. You can also add system time now, just to be pretty much specific.
Okay.
Like if I run this job again, this file is going to get replaced because the system date is still 2024-0408. If you want to keep all the backup for even all the runs per day for that particular day as well, you don't want to even delete anything, then you can do something like system time as well, because system time will differ, right? Let's do, see, what I can do is I can do here something like, see, this is post load, then this becomes my YY, Let me do YYD Then I can add system time as well to underscore char system time. Okay. Okay. It's now expecting me to. Okay. Let's do function now. Parameters finish now. Let me try to char time concat time given a concat 12 and 12. No, I don't want to do that. I want to do the system time. Okay, but there should be a format, right? I can do something like SS seconds. Okay, let's try to run it now. And okay, I can even do here an underscore between the two so that I can figure it out. This is the time
So
and this
before
is. Let me go back. Let me run this code, then we go back. Let it run. I'm just trying to show you in case you don't want to delete the files, you want to keep a backup. If you run 10 times a day, you want to keep the backup. Then this is how you can do. Yeah, what I'm trying to do, Mara post load, then I'm trying to get the system date, then underscore system time dot txt. Okay, now let's see what's getting created. You see, now this is getting created 2024 0804 2107 9 maybe 9 1 17 seconds, something like that, right? If I again see this, these two files are getting replaced because I'm not adding timestamp and system date to it, but these files will get created. If I again run it, see, this will not get deleted because the system time is changing. I will again run this. It's just, we are just doing it to make sure we don't delete the files. We keep backup of everything. Suppose I run it today, I have some data, load ready data, then I run it tomorrow, I'm not getting the exact same data, right? In such cases, I will always have the proof. I can go back to my yesterday's files and I can show them, hey, it was coming yesterday, now it's not coming. You can say like, hey, maybe I will give you an example. Somebody changed, we had all the necessary configurations at 6 o'clock. Then I'm telling them, hey, I ran the transformation job and everything is good, looking good. Now I run by 9 p.m., everything is gone. Somebody deleted a configuration, some of the records are coming in fail. Where do I have the proof? I can go back to these files and I can show them, hey, this is the file. Now you see, this file is this is the backup. This is the new file. This is how you can do it. You guys follow me why I am doing it? I just want to keep the backup by using the system date and system time. You follow me? Any questions here?
yes, bro, yeah.
Okay. Then let's take a 12-minute break. Let's come back by 9:30 and then we start fresh for BAPIs. I won't suggest you to call these loops in the BAPIs. If you are doing it anywhere else, it's okay, but don't do it inside the BAPIs.
We
You
just
might
wanted
get
to
the
know how
system
that
time crash.
behaves actually. Yeah.
Yeah, see, Baba, while is simply like a cursor. In SQL, we have a cursor, right? What
Yeah.
does a cursor do? For example, I have 100 records. You set a cursor. You tell the cursor, go from 1 to 100. Now, what does the cursor do by doing next? Pick one record, pick second, third, fourth, fifth, do some processing, come back till we reach the 100 record. Same is the case with while.
Mhm.
While 1 is less than 100, do this. See, I think okay, let me do one thing. Let's try to do that while. Okay, while, see, while one is less, see, this will be an infinite loop. Why? You understand why? Because one will always be less than 10, right? We are not even incrementing this one. I have seen some guys using these while loops, like they have some header item, then they want to check for the they want to check the line items for a header. Maybe for one header they want to check the lines, then they push it into the what do you call that? They push it through the while loop and get the data.
So, for example, we have one header with 10 items, and if they specifically want to fetch the data of one particular item, they have to use while loop. I mean, it's based on some condition. Each and every repetition, then they are going to use that.
You can do that as well, Baba. I know what from where you are coming. You are coming from where this, right? Let me do this. See, what are you doing here? While global variable is less than say 10, okay? Then you will do some operation.
Yeah.
See with a real time scenario. For example, you have a header,
Mhm.
and for each header, you have to load some line items independently. So what you will do, you will get the line item, sorry, header, you will push that header to something outside this loop. Then you will check the number of line items for that header, and you will pass that number of line item to this count. Then what you will do, you will have one more load program inside the loop, inside this while loop. It will keep on adding or updating that line item details. The moment this, and it will keep on updating the count 1, count 2, count 3. The moment count reaches 10, it will come out. Then it will take second header, it will take third header, fourth header. I understand what, see, you are trying to tell me this while loop. I understand. I'm just trying to show you how this works.
Okay.
I personally avoid using these while loops because we never then know like how long it's going to take me to load some data or do some operation. But yeah, there are certain scenarios you have to use this. I have seen, I don't remember the object. What they used to do is like they used to fetch the header data. Then for that header data, they used to fetch the number of line items. Then process inside this, what do you call that? Inside the while loop. Come out, keep on processing again.
Mhm. Okay.
But if you understand this while loop concept now, please Ram, go here. I know I keep on interacting with you. I know like you can do it, buddy. So just go through this custom function once. How do we create these custom functions? How do we pass the parameters and how do we get the parameters? I will tell you one scenario. For example, in my case, I was given a file once. Okay. Now, if your data is coming from ECC, then you know some numbers. You know the material number, right? Suppose I'm giving you a file and I am giving you multiple descriptions for a material. I don't have the material number. I'm just giving you description, Pepsi description, PepsiCo description, PepsiCo US, and I am telling you create a material number on your own and then load this data. PepsiCo underscore US, PepsiCo underscore UK. This is the description for material Pepsi will be 4 times, then the description will be 4 times. Now you don't know the material number, right? Because it's not coming from ECC, it's coming from a file, Excel file. So what I personally did is like I made the use of this custom function. So what I did is like I declared some variables over there. Then I used to check if my next row is exactly the same. I mean to say I'm passing material to it. Say Pepsi. In the second line item, I'm again trying to pass Pepsi. In the third line item, I'm again trying to pass Pepsi. Okay, I designed this code in such a way that the material number remains 1 for it. The moment now Pepsi underscore US comes, the moment this material changes, right, or Coca-Cola comes up, then it used to give me the material number 2. So we can use these custom functions as well. Just try to explore this. You will 99% of the times you will not use this custom function, but there might be some scenarios where you might want to use. Just explore this once. Then let's start with BAPIs. See, we can load data to S4HANA system using idocs. We can use using BAPIs, and we can even load using LTMC. Okay, LSMW is the final part. If you don't find any load mechanism, then you can go for LSMW, but that's not recommended. If you don't find anything, then LSMW comes into picture. But again, I would repeat myself. If you ever get a choice between idocs and BAPIs, please select the idocs. But there might be certain circumstances where you are forced to use the BAPIs. Okay, if for example I give you an object, you go to Google and search out for the BAPI first, or you can ask the data owner or the function owner, hey, do you remember any BAPI which I can use to load this object? Suppose he gave you one BAPI. Let us take an example. Let us take an example of these BAPIs. What is the first step you would do when you come across any BAPI? Let me take an example of this BAPI. For example, you need to get the bank details, okay, from your S4HANA system or from your ECC system. I'm just giving you an example. Suppose you find it on the Google, hey, we can use this BAPI, or someone told you from his experience, you can use this. Then what's the first step you would do? You will not directly come to BODS and start coding. Why? Because idocs can be used. They are on the go. But BAPIs need to be remote enabled and released. If they are not remote enabled and released, you cannot use them. The moment you try to connect with a BAPI using the data services, it will throw you an BOBD error. Connection, sorry, what we call that? RFC error. So what is the first step? For example, I have this BAPI now. Let me take an example of BAPI Bupa bank details. I need to get the bank details from BAPI. So what I will do, I will straight away go to SC37. I will hit this BAPI and then I will go to display. The first step is I go to my attributes and I check what is the processing type. If this is a regular function module, you cannot use it from the data services. If this is a remote enabled module, then yes, we can do it. Then the moment you see remote enabled module, then you will come to the general data. Is this released? If this is released, then 100% you can use this BAPI. If this is not released, sometimes it works, sometimes it does not work. If this is regular function module, 110% it's not going to work for you in data services. Leave that BAPI and search for something else. Okay. Now in my case, I'm this BAPI is my remote enabled module, and this is released as well. So I am sure this is going to work from my data services. So what is the second step? The moment I find this BAPI, I will just go and execute this BAPI once. I will check how this is behaving. Now, okay. First, let me check its parameters. So this is the parameter. It's expecting a business partner. So the moment you give any business partner to this, it will give you the data back from the bank details of the business partner. And are there any tables that it's expecting? Yes, you you there are two tables. One is bank details, and the second thing is the return. Leave this return because this is going to give me the what do you call that? This is an output parameter. I think BAPI bank details is also an output parameter. We will check it out. Just give me a second. Now, if I go and try to execute this BAPI, if you have any object where you have a choice to use BAPI or an IDOC, please always use the IDOC. The reason being we can parallel process those IDOCs and your load will be fast. But now if you don't have any choice, you have to use a BAPI. Suppose I'm asking you to get the bank details for a business partner from S4 HANA system or ECC system. Now you will go and research on the Google, hey, what is the function module that I'm supposed to use? I came across this function module, BAPI BUPA bank details. I will not straight away go to my data services and start coding because BAPIs need to be remote enabled so that we can use them from data services. That's the first step. IDOCs, it's okay. IDOCs are on the go. The moment you find some IDOC, you can go and do that code in the data services. But for BAPIs, it's not like that. You have to go to SE37 first and do some checks /n SE37. So what I will do, I will just punch in this BAPI, I will hit display and I will check attributes. If your processing type is remote enabled, then you can use this from data services. If this is regular function module, you cannot use it. You will get a RFC error. Okay. So the first and foremost thing is this processing type should be remote enabled so that you can use it from the data services. Then come to this portion, general data. If this is released, 100% is going to work from your data services. If this is not released, sometimes it works, sometimes it does not work. So we have to test it from data services now. If this is regular function module, leave it. It's not going to work, search for something else. Now, what is the second step I will do? I will test or execute this BAPI here in SAP itself. Why? I want to just have a look like how this is expecting the what do you call this variables? How this is expecting the data. It will help me set up the data accordingly in data services. That's the reason I'm trying to check how this is going to behave. Now I know for BAPI, BUPA bank details are in BUT0BK, right? Now let me get one business partner. Suppose this is the business partner. Okay. Now let me do this. Let me execute this. What is the okay? Now I'm getting the bank details for this, right? So this is the corresponding data. Bank detail ID, bank country ISO, bank key, bank account, IBAN. So these are the details. Now, two things are clear. One, this is RFC enabled. Two, this has been released. Three, I know how to push data to this BAPI. Then I will go to my data services and write the code. Is it clear till now?
Yes.
Okay. How to call a BAPI now? This is important because the moment you hear about an IDOC, you can straight away go to data service and write the code. But for BAPIs, it doesn't work like this. We have to be sure shot first. Otherwise, you will write the code for this BAPI and then you come to know, hey, this you cannot load it by this BAPI. There is no other BAPI. You have to go for LSMW or LTMC. Then what's the point of writing all that code and wasting our efforts? Right? Now, let me go back. Let me copy this. I will go to my data services. I will go to my S4 HANA. I will import by name and here it should be a function, right? I will import it. Okay. Okay. I'm not going to show the extraction and the transformation and validation part now because we have already covered that. Extraction, transformation, validation, preload success, preload error. That report is common. Same thing has to be followed for idocs, BAPIs. Okay. It just now the load mechanism is changing. For idocs, I have already shown you how to use those enriched tables and get the details. Now for what do you call this? Now for BAPI, I will straight away go for the load program. Let me say job underscore get details BP bank df BP bank details. I'm starting with the easiest of BAPIs. What is the easiest of BAPIs? Which only expects parameters like one-to-one mapping parameters. You don't need to give anything. This bank details is a return parameter, right? I'm not giving it. I don't need to give it. I will get everything the moment I pass on this business partner. These are easy BPs. You have to simply just do one-to-one mapping inside the function module. That's it. But there will be some BAPIs. See, for example, this BAPI BUPA create from data, the BAPI that that is responsible to create the business partner. See, here we cannot simply pass on the this is like wherever you see this sign, a blue sign. This is simply one-to-one mapping. This is just a column. You will just map business partner column to the input parameter business partner. You are done. You remember for idocs we created those segments. Remember? Now you check the BAPI BUPA. Here BAPI BUPA, this blue sign, this means this is one-to-one mapping. You have to just map column to column level. But the moment you go down, you see, now you are having tables as well. I need to pass the rules. I need to create this segment. How to create this segment and pass this? I cannot pass roles as a field now. I have to create a schema or I have to create a table. And then I can pass these roles to my function module. Because what function module is expecting is for one business partner, there can be multiple roles. I already explained this yesterday. For one business partner, there can be a vendor role and a customer role. Now I have to pass both those roles in the form of a table. I cannot do one-to-one mapping. Same thing goes with email address. I can have 6 different email addresses to a same business partner. Then I cannot do one-to-one mapping. I have to create a table where that partner will have 6 different email IDs in that table, and I will just send this or email data table inside the function module. How do we do it? I will show you. But as of now, just understand these are two different things. One is a table. You have to create a table first and then send it to the function module. These are simply one-to-one column. These are super easy. Just you have to just select the column and do it. This is easy. But this one you have to take care. How to do it, I will show you. But as of now, I want to just show you the easiest of function modules. See, I have already shown you inside SE37. I don't need this and this. Return and bank details I'm getting from the BAPI. I just need to pass the business partner. See, here, if I directly came to BODS and started using this BAPI, I would have worried about validate. But I already validated. I don't need this validate as well, right? Because SAP is taking care of that. I just need to send the business partner. I'm done. This is the easiest of all. Let me just try to get BOT0BK from SAP itself, S4 HANA. I'm not, because all BOT0BK data will have the bank details, right? Import by name BOT0BK. Where is BOT? BO. Okay, let me get BOT0BK. Let me get only a couple. I don't want to throw. See, I just need partner. That's it. I don't need all the details, right? For BOT0BK. Let me do distinct and then from, I will just get it for maybe is less than 11. I just want to get the data for only 10 business partners. That's the reason I'm keeping this filter over here. I don't want to see the data for all. Now, let me say query function call. Let me push this partner here. Let me do new function call. Insert below. Go to S4 HANA because you have to use this function module from S4 HANA. There might be certain circumstances where you might use long text data. There's a function module read text, right? You might use that, but you might use that from what do you call that? ECC system, right? So in that case, you have in that case you'll be having, the moment you have an ECC connection, you have to use the function module. This that read or save text read text from ECC. As of now, I want to focus
Ideally,
on
they don't give access, Brad. Like,
yeah.
for
But, I completely agree. They don't give access, but if you have the access, then you know how to do it. I want to focus on function modules. I will select this function module, and now I would suggest to whatever fields you are not using, just map them as null. If even if you remove them as blanks, it's okay. But I have seen, like, the moment you try to push the code to central repo and someone tries to get it back, then these details get changed. Like, business partner goes to this table and this valid date goes here. I don't know why it happens. So it's always better, whatever fields you are not using, just map them as null. Even if you try to send the ATL to someone, you are trying to create an ATL, he's trying to import it back into his repo, there is some mismatch over here. Business partner gets flown to here, this table gets flown to here. I don't know why this happened, but this does happen. So it's better, whatever you are not using, just map them as null. And whatever you are using, see, this business partner, I already told you, this is not a table, this is a field. So my query inside has a business partner. Simply use this business partner over here. Next, get this bank details, get this ALRFC code. Okay, is this clear till now? Simply
no need of
nothing.
return parameter, Brad.
Why I don't need that? See, I already tested it, na baba. See, where is that AC37 wala field?
Basically, in return parameter, we have the error message and success message.
For that, I already got the return code, na. If there is any error, it will tell me there is an error. Let's see. Let's see
Okay.
what's getting from. Let's push this. Let's remove this. Let's see what's getting back. See, I'm not getting anything in return. Am I? No. That's the reason I told you. Just go to SE37 first. You will get a clear picture what to send to the IDOC, sorry, BAPI, and what to get it from it. You see, I don't care for the valid date now. I don't care for bank details. I don't care for this return. I just care for this bank detail that is coming as a return parameter. That's the reason I just see. If you sometimes you might want I missed to map some field. Now I want to do it again. Right click on this S4 HANA, modify function call. Okay. I'm simply passing business partner to it. And then I'm getting these details. Return I don't need. RFC I need. Bank details I need. Finish. Now I will use query unnest. Query unnest. What is this query unnest? If you see, this business partner is a field, right? But now this bank details, this is like a table. I cannot put one table into another table. Ultimately, I have to just drop this into some return table, right? So this is just like a table. This is a complete schema. I cannot drop the whole table into one more table. A table cannot have one more table schema. So what we do over here is we right click on it and just unnest it. It means whatever is inside this bank details, I need those fields only. I don't need the schema. Just make sure you just select this unnest. The moment you select unnest, now these fields are getting out of the schema. query distinct. Now you see, I now have all the fields that I need. Dump it here, do the distinct, and STG BP bank details.
If we cannot unnest it, we cannot use that as a template table list
It will
because
it will throw
table
it will
with
throw you an error.
yeah,
It will
exactly.
throw you an error, sir. You have to unnest it here. Whatever return is getting, we are getting as the return as a table, we have to unnest it. Now let's try to run this once. This is the easiest of all BAPIs. Now I don't have an error. Let's see. You see, I have the details for 10 different banks. So this is my partner and this is his bank details. You follow me?
Yeah.
Anyone wants me to discuss this again? How we went from this BUT0BK to STG return table? Whenever a function module has only fields, you will just go to query, select the field. That's it. The moment a function module has tables, we need to create those schemas and then we will push those schemas inside the tables in a function module. Like I have already shown for BAPI BUPA create from customer while creating the business partner. I will go through BAPI BUPA, but before going there, I want to ensure everybody understands the prerequisites to develop code for a BAPI. How do we do it? Why we go to SC37? Why do we check that function module is, what do you call that? If the function module is compatible with BODS or not. If we can even use it. How do we set the parameters? We will go to SE37. Anyone has any questions for this basic BAPI? Now an important concept for a BAPI. Sometimes there is an important interview question. Hey, if you have an IDOC, you can parallel process the IDOCs. Or you should tell them upfront because this is an interesting topic for BAPIs. The topic is for IDOCs, we can parallel process the IDOCs. We will just post them as status 64 and do BD87 parallel processing and we are done. Even if you post 150,000 IDOCs, it's okay. But what about BAPIs? BAPI takes one record at a time, process it, comes back, second process. It's just like a while loop. Unless and until all the records are getting triggered, fired to SAP, it's in a while loop. So it's taking time. It's not processing everything in a single go. It takes one record, goes there, comes back. Second, goes there, comes back. Now imagine you are having a BAPI and you want to now load maybe 100,000 records. 100,000 at the header level. I'm not talking about the line item. Line item can be maybe multiplied by 4. 100,000 is like 400,000 records. And your BAPI is, you are feeling like, hey, my BAPI is taking 12 hours to load. You want to now, what do you call it, optimize this code. How will you parallel process the BAPI now? That's the point. SAP will not do it. Data services will not do it. You have to do it explicitly. How do we do it? I will show you. But do you get the core why I'm discussing this? How can we parallel process an BAPI?
Yes.
Okay. Now see how I can do it. Let me take the same example. Suppose how many records I have? I have 152 records, right? Imagine these are 152,000 records. Imagine the time. So what I will do, I will design my code in such a way that all these BAPIs work in parallel. what SAP recommends is you can hit a BAPI 5,000 times. So I'm just going to hit it maybe 10 times at max, or even 20 times. It depends on you. But here I'm trying to show you how to do it. Maybe we will parallel process it in 10 different data flows. How do we do it? I'm showing you. Let me name this. Let me do one thing. New batch job underscore extract underscore BUT0 BK. Okay. Let me extract this table once. So you have to do this. I'm trying to use a query gen row. I wanted gen row for each and every row. So you will do this in your transformation anyways. So let me do it. df ext but0 bk. Okay. Now let me get this but0 bk. Let me push it here. I just need the partner, primary key, new output column, insert below, say row underscore num, and I will use gen row num. Till this it's clear. As of now, I want see for there can be a scenario where, for example, you have to load materials by a BAPI. Now you want to parallel process that. Then for one material you cannot have a row num. You need to use gen row num by group, because I will be processing one record in one data flow. I will create 10 different data flows. Here I know there is only one field partner, so I'm using gen row num. But imagine if you have materials. A material has 10 different line items. So you cannot use gen row num there. You have to use gen row num by group. For example, if I was trying to have both partner and BKVID. Now, if I use gen row num, then for example, this partner is 1, BKVID is A. Partner is 1, BKVID is 2, or B. If I do gen row num for this partner, I will get 1, 2, right? I want to be crystal clear here. Sometimes there are scenarios where you will use gen row num, and sometimes there are scenarios when you will use gen row num by group. What is the difference? If you are at the header level, it's okay. You can keep gen row num, because you already know this matner will always be unique in Mara. Now, if you are dealing with some objects where you are feeling like that this matner might get repeated, then you do, for example, Marcy. Now, inside Marcy, matner can be 3 times, 4 times, but will have different plants, right? Then in such cases, you will not do gen row num by gen row num. Because, for example, if it's a material at plant 1, material at plant 2, material at plant 3, you will get 1, 2, 3 row num. I don't want to do that. In such cases, I will use gen row num by group, so that even if a material has 3 different plants, it will still have one value inside row num. Because I will load one material in one DF. As of now, you are having one bank details, but ultimately I'm going to create 10 different data flows. I cannot push my material to DF bank details underscore 1 and bank details underscore 2. It will fail because it will tell me here material already loaded in bank details underscore 1 data flow. Are you guys getting my point or not? This is important what I'm discussing right now. Why am I using row num here? Because I want to have a unique row for each partner. Had it been I was supposed to pass partner number based on BKVID, then I would use row num by group, and I would group it based on partner and BKVID. Let me move ahead, then you might understand what I'm saying.
But inside gen row, you haven't specified the field
No, this is
partner.
no,
That's not required.
that's not required. Now, what I ultimately want, I want for each partner, I have a different gen row number. Ultimately,
Okay.
for each partner, I will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 to 156, right?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Yeah.
Now let me do something like STG BUT0BK. I do this. I will tell you the reason why I'm using this BUT0 by BK. You will soon understand. Let me extract it. Because I'm going to perform some operations based on this row num now. Someone might ask me here, why don't you use directly on partner? Why are you dependent on this row num? My answer is, what if my partner is like ABCD? I need to do some mathematical operations on this row num. I cannot do them on partner if the partner is coming as AB underscore 002. That's the reason I want a row num here. Now, let me go inside this. I will remove this. And then I will use this. Let me use this. And I want to use bank details underscore 0. Okay. I will show you something else. Wait. I want to show you one more thing. Suppose there's a job.
The template table, did you convert as a table?
No, I didn't convert it, sir. I'm just trying to show you something. Job test. I want to go to job test and name some df as df underscore load underscore mat underscore 0. Okay, sir. Let me show you something. Just give me a second. See what I'm going to do. I'm going to get the details for all the BUT0BK data now, partners now, but I want to take you to the functions. There is a system function or miscellaneous function which gives me the DF name, host name. I don't want the job name. I want the data flow name.
It's there at the top, right? Crossed it.
Okay, where is, oh, perfect. See, I get the data flow name. So what will this function give me now? This will give me data flow name. So what is the
execution data flow name?
Yes, current data flow. This is the data flow name, right? I want to get this data flow name, so this is the function that will give me data flow name. Now I know I have named my data flow like df underscore bp underscore bank underscore details underscore 0. I want to split my data flow name now based on underscore. So this will be my first, second, third, fourth, and fifth, right? 0 would be fifth, fourth, third, second, first. Am I making sense to you guys? I want to again use one more function. I want to use a split.
What external?
Perfect. This, let me say I use something, let it be. I use something as test here. I will replace it by data flow name later. What is the word number I want to use? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. And what is the word separator? Underscore. Let me push this data flow name under this test. Now going by the basic logic, what will this word exe data flow name give me? I'm
Number
giving,
0.
it will give me 0, right?
Yes.
Now, what I will do something like one more operation. I want to do row num mod. How many data flows I'm going to create? If I'm going to create 10, I will write 10 here. If I'm going to create 5, I will write 5 here. It depends on you how many you want to create. As of now, I want to create 5. So what will this mod give me? Mod gives me remainder.
Yes.
Okay. What will be 1 mod 5? 1 mod 5 is 1, 2 mod 5 is 2, 3 mod 5 is 3, 4 mod 5 is 4, and 5 mod 5 is 0. So whenever row num comes as 5, 10, 15, 20, remainder is always going to be 0 because it's divisible by 5. Just basic maths I'm teaching you here. Modulus gives me the remainder. If I divide 1 by 5, remainder is 1. 2 by 5, 2. 3 by 5, 3. 4 by 5, 4. But 5 by 5 is 0. Now, the moment I do this row num mod 5, I will always have the values as 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. I can never have 5. 5 mod 5 is 0. So I can have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, suppose row number 1 is coming. What is 1 mod 5? 1, 2 mod 5, 2, 3 mod 5, 3, 4 mod 5, 4, 5 mod 5, 0. Here, from this function, I am getting 0. So it means whenever 5, 10, 15, 20 row num is passing, it will get processed here because I'm keeping this in the where clause, right? Only 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 row nums will flow to this part. Now, I will simply replicate these data flows. And I will name them as 1, 2, 3, and 4. This is 0. Now this is 1. I'm intending to create 5, right? 0, 1 is created. This is very important. Just some basic mathematics. That's it. Never copy and paste any data flow. It changes your data table names into _1, which is a problem. This is 0, 1, 2. This is 3. And the last one I want to do, I will again repeat. If I'm intending to create 5 different data flows, then you will keep mod 5. If you are intending to create 10 different data flows, you will keep mod 10. Then the remainder will vary between 0 to 9. Exactly, you will create 10 different data flows. Now, help me understand one thing. When I go inside 0, see, inside 0, this will be coming as 0. Now, whenever 5, 10, 5, 10, 15 comes, they will pass through this. Let me go to 1. Whenever this will give me 1, and whenever 1 comes, 6 comes, 11 comes, 16 comes, row num, it will flow through this. So this is, now this is going to give me 2. Whenever 2 comes, 7 comes, 12 comes, 17 comes, this is going to flow through this. Exactly will be the case for data flow 3 and 4, because we will always, for 5 different data flows, we will always have the remainder between 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now someone might ask me, hey, why didn't you do something like this? Why to keep this data flow and this and that? Why did you do something like where gen row num is less than 30? Here, where gen row num is 30 greater less than 60, here you kept 60 to 90, 90 to 120, 120 to 150. As of now, you know the count of your data. What if there are only, suppose you have 100,000 records. Now what you did is like you controlled it using the gen row num greater than and less than. Suppose you are saying I want to split it into 4, 25,000, 25 to 50, 50 to 50 to, what do you call that? 50 to 75, 75 to 100,000. What if in mock 3 only 25,000 are coming? It means I am just I'm not even using the rest 3 data flows. So what, by doing this functionality, what it does is it will balance your load. Even if your 5 records come, all the 5 data flows are going to be used. If your 500,000 records are coming, all the 5 different data flows are going to get used and the load will be balanced. This is how we parallelly process the BAPIs. Just this is a simple concept, but mm, I can bet 60 to 70% people don't know how to do it. Now you tell me, is this something difficult? Whenever someone asks you about parallel processing of BAPIs, the first answer should be in an interview. The first answer should be SAP recommends using a BAPI or hitting a BAPI 5,000 times simultaneously. Whenever you use these terms, SAP recommends, so it means like you know your stuff. It creates a good, thought in the interviewer's mind. Data flow name, you understood why I'm using that. Then I'm using word ext to get my last number, right? Because I know underscore 0 underscore 1, I want to get those 0 1 2 3 4, right? Okay, now we want to understand the second part. Let us do one. Let me do something like this. Let me keep it till this. Till series. Now I did something like this is equal to this mod 5, right? What I'm trying to do there is, when I'm trying to divide 1 by 5, I will get 1 as the remainder. Mod gives me the remainder. For 2, it will be 2. For 3, because 3 is not divisible by 5, right? I will straight away get the remainder. 4, I will get 4. But for 5, I will get 0. Why? Because 5 divided by 5 is, remainder is 0. Now same thing goes for 6. 5 ones are 5, 1 is remaining. 5 ones are 5, 2 are remaining. 5 ones are 5, 3 are remaining. 5 fours are, sorry, 5 ones are 5, 4 are remaining.
Yes, sir.
How I am doing this? Now what it means is like whenever
Sir,
I'm
but which
using,
data flow gets triggered on the row number
yes,
2?
yes,
That first
yes, see, somebody,
underscore
I'm
one data
trying
flow
to,
will trigger.
give me a second. Whenever one comes, I am keeping data flow 1,
1.
right? So whenever one comes, whenever 6 comes, whenever 11 comes, 16 comes, 21 comes, this data flow, then df underscore 2, this will be df underscore 3, df underscore 4,
It's kind of
df
series.
5. You see, now every time this is going to happen.
Got it.
You got it? So what is eventually what is happening? My load is getting balanced out. I'm not passing everything into my one data flow. Now I am passing some records to my df1, some records to my df2, and exactly the load is getting balanced. Even if I have 120,000 records, it will get exactly split between 5. It will be like, if I have 100,000 records, 20,000 each, 20,000, 50, 60 here and there, but it will be eventually balancing of the loads. That is how we do the parallel processing of BAPIs. Now, let me go back here. The only thing you have to do is, you have to create these tables again, because I'm not going to use the same table. It will be drop and recreate, right? So this will create a mess. So what I will do is, I will name it as underscore 0. Then eventually I will merge the data together. Let me show you. The only thing here to do is then delete it. This will be underscore 1. This is not something rocket science. But yeah, this is very handy. The moment you go for asset loads, the moment you go for that BAPI Bupa create from FS, it will take you eternity to load by BAPI. The only savior is this parallel processing of a BAPI. characteristics, equipment classification. These are easy objects. Profit center, cost center, easy objects. Just go and check what is the data in your current system. Check how to load and be what is partner profile, right? How did you load? What is the status 51, 53, 64? Where did you do the partner profiling? What is the difference between numbers? And always take him to the point. That's your strength. Do not stop. If you know if you know you don't know how to use XML, do not even bring this XML in your interview. Do not even bring this into the discussion. If you don't know about sales order, don't even bring it. Just keep him on this master data. If you know very well how to load transactional objects, don't bring him to master objects. Take him there. It's all how you take how you, I mean to say, drive that path. Depends on you, because interviewer has only the specific set of questions in his mind. Then whatever you say, he will keep on asking you about that. So be sure what you are writing on the resume. The first thing that I wanted to discuss is the job optimization. What is job optimization? Simply you are making your code fast. Now your job optimization can happen at the three fronts. One is your extraction, one is your transformation, then the third part is your load, right? Now inside extraction, we already discussed one, array fetch size you can increase, row commit size you can increase. Then you can go to the data flow. If they are in series, you can keep the degree of parallelism to 4. And then if there is no dependency between the data flows, you will keep them in parallels. Okay, series, parallel. These are the 4 points. Array fetch size, row commit size, degree of parallelism, and then depending on the scenario, you can either keep them in series or parallel. This is extraction part. Now transformation part is, if you are finding out the lookup, we are using lot many lookups inside the transformation job, and it's making your job slow. Then we will change our lookups with the joins. Why? Because joins are faster than lookups at the SQL level. And in case of extraction, you can also tell him, when we are extracting data from SAP to our HANADB tables, then we will just do 1:1 mapping. If you don't use any transformation, then the code push down optimization happens. What is push down optimization? Process now is done at the what do you call that? System level, not at the job server level. So it will again make your code fast. Now he might ask you, have you worked on ABAP data flows? If you have worked, tell him yes. If you have not worked, tell him simply no, because 80% of the times we don't use ABAP data flows. What is an ABAP data flow? You simply use SAP recommends, whenever you have more than 50,000 records and you feel like your data is taking a long time to extract, you will make the use of ABAP data flows. Inside that ABAP data flows, what we have to do, there is something like, let me show you. You see this is this ABAP execution option. This is a generate and execute. Most of the times you will see execute preloaded. What it means, generate and execute, means you can create a file on the server and then you can execute that. For ABAP data flows, a file needs to be created. ABAP using that program, a data flows from the SAP. I used it once, but to be really honest with you, I don't remember now what we did. But yeah, there is a concept. This is the ABAP data flow. The moment, why is this not visible? Okay, I have to use it inside, I think, yes. Now, you see, I'm just describing here what is the data store. I will use ECC, then generated ABAP file name. I will mention an ABAP file name. I will mention the ABAP program name. Then what happens is like, Let me say ABAP
That
program name.
program name means SC38 program name.
No, not that program name, buddy. You need to connect with your ABAPers. I have not worked on this ABAP program name and ABAP. I know like the file will be generated. There will be an ABAP program that will be executing in the backend, but I never use it. So then what happens is like you will simply get this. No, not this. I don't remember it, buddy. Then this is some sort of a pipeline. You see, the moment I go inside, okay, I need to do.
It would be great, like if we have an example, maybe.
I never use this, sir. I never use this. I won't lie.
Okay, maybe next week, if we get some scenario, that would be very great.
For this, my friend, I need the help of an ABAPer. If I have some, I will do. If not, then I will just create a documentation and you can get it from the ZaranTech support team.
Okay, yeah.
If any ABAP, I can help, but
Hmm? But I know, like, what the theory
yeah,
is. The theory
exactly.
is like what you do is like the moment sometimes you can get run out time errors whenever you are using the what do we call this extraction jobs. For example, BKP, BSEC, there are so many records over there. So what we do is like take the use of ABAP data flows. Inside ABAP data flows, what happens is like uh, uh, the extraction, the complete extraction is now happens at the what do we call this at the DB level. Now that DB level data is being pushed to this transport, and then from here we can simply dump it to our table. This will not give you the runtime errors, or error timeout errors. Sorry, what do we call those? Timeout errors. Yeah, I will go through this once again. I will check if I can do something here. Okay. Now this is all about the extraction. Now the second point we were discussing is if you have any issues that you feel like there are some issues at the transformation level. So what you will do, you remember whenever we have xrefs, we use a lookup. Then we will change those lookups with the joins. We will use a left outer join with the table with those xref tables, and we will get the data. Now from the load point of view, if you have a choice between an IDOC and a BAPI, you will always go with IDOC, because what will happen with IDOC is like you can set the IDOC in partner profiling at 64 status, and you will only post your IDOCs to the SAP system. Then you can go to BD87 and you can parallel process those IDOCs. But if you got no choice, you have to use the BAPI. Then I have already shown you how to parallel process the BAPIs as well. So what SAP time simultaneously. So you can take the help of data flow name, and then using the mod operator, you can create 5, 10, 15 data flows, and you can parallel process the BAPI as well. And whenever you name this thing like parallel processing of BAPI, you have to explain him the proper scenario end to end. How did you do it? You have an extract, you have a transformed or enriched table. There you take the help of zero num. For each and every record there will be row num. Now what you will do, something. If you are planning to use 10 different data flows, you will use row num mod 10. Wherever it's 0, it will flow to 0 data flow. Then you will explain him, I'm getting df name, I'm using function name as df name. It will give me the data flow name. Then I'm splitting it using word ext. I'm getting the last numerical digit like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and inside the where clause I'm doing this to make sure the data is perfectly balanced. Never say some people do something like they use a where clause where gen row num is less than 50, then where gen row num is greater than 50, less than 100. But that's not the correct approach. You guys follow me? This is the complete end-to-end job optimization. If when you practice it, when you try to speak on
We can
job
say about
optimization,
joint rank as well, right? In transformation.
don't go there, buddy. He will then ask you joint line questions. What if he asks you some question we don't know? It's better avoid such questions. Avoid those things. Whatever.
Okay.
If you start on job optimization, you can continue for 15 minutes. Trust me. The moment you go to parallel processing of BAPIs and you try to explain him, he will definitely give you both his ears and he will listen to you, and you can cover this in 15 minutes. More you speak, less time he has to ask you new questions.
Got it. Yeah.
Any questions till BAPI? I am going to revisit information steward once, because I got a request from someone, like, please go through that information steward once. I will cover a rule or a couple of rules again, so that you can just brush up those information steward tasks. Other than that, extraction transformation is going to remain the same for all your objects. Even if you have 2000 objects in your scope, extraction, validation, transformation, this is going to remain the same. The only thing that will change is load. If you go by IDOC, you now know how to map it. If you want to go by BAPI, I have already shown you a simple BAPI. One example, suppose somebody gave me a BAPI. Somebody told me, can you load bill of materials? And this is
Files, and we are giving it to ABAP team. They're creating program.
my friend, whenever you go for any interview, never tell this thing.
Yeah.
I create a file, I give it to an ABAPer, he loads it. It will be it will have a bad impact on your interview,
Okay.
because it means you don't know how to load. Whenever you go for interview, you believe in yourself and tell him, I know everything. I know from the word extract, you give me an object, I know what to do with it. I will give you the extract, I will give you the preload success, I know what is validation, and I know how to load it. Don't tell anyone you are giving files. That's not a good thing. That way people feel like, okay, he is just doing the extraction and transformation, maybe validation, and then he's giving file to someone and he is loading it, because the real complexity is in loading. We saw it yesterday, how complex
Yeah.
it was. Little complex load materials, but the complexity is in loading. Rest 80% of the things you will do a repetitive task. Now let me show you the CSAP material. I go to attributes. I saw this remote enable module. This is remote enabled, so I can do it. But you see, there is no released. We discussed it, right? There is a field called released on. There is no release on. So sometimes these function modules work, sometimes they don't work. So whenever you see this released is not there, just only create a load program first. Just try to check for one record. Is it loading? See, what I did, I wanted to load bombs now. What I did is, like, I just created the what do you call this? I used the straight away tables, and then I try to nest it together and use it inside a function module. See, this is the function module, and I tried to use this. Now this is the we were discussing about tables. I will tell you in detail tomorrow. See, this how to create these tables. Then this is STPO table. I'm not supposed to throw field at it. I'm supposed to throw the table, a complete structure into this, and the structure should exactly match the structure of this STPO. Which structure it should match, I will show you that as well. See, if you go inside, see, these are one-to-one field. These are easy, the blue ones. The moment we go inside, see, I have to give the exact same structure. How we do it, I will show you tomorrow. Okay. Now I try to load this. You see, the moment I try to load this, I'm getting an error. BOBJDI RFC call receive error. It means this function module cannot be called from BODS. Had I extracted, transformed, validated my data, and then used this function module, I would have wasted my efforts. You see this? Incompatible function, incompatible call rejected. Incompatible function call rejected. So it means I cannot use this. This is an RFC error. The moment I now go inside this return code, I'm checking this is BOBJDI RFC call receive error. What is call receive error? It means this is not compatible with bots, so I cannot call it from BODS. That's the reason I told you, first go there, check if it's remote function RFC enabled, then if it's released. If it's released, 100% it will work. If it's not released, just go and create a simple job task here for POC, if it's working or not. I will go through this BAPI, BUPA, create from FS, and we will create a business partner in the next session. and how to use it I will show you, and how to create a record in SC 37. ABAPers, whosoever is an ABAPer here, he might with the BAPIs. I will show you something. See, I have a test directory working. See, I have this data handy. I was testing it today. Now, if I just execute it, okay, and I see my return. Now my return is telling me 100294 is created because this is a success. Warning, I ignore. It's okay. But this is telling me 1000294. This is created, right? But if I go to my SAP and I check in BOT 000 / NSC16 BOT 000, what was the name?
It did not commit.
Yes, that's what I was trying to teach them. How to
BAPI
check it in.
transaction commit.
Yeah, exactly. How to do that in SAP, I will show you in the next class.
Yeah,
1000294. Exactly. 1000294. Where is this? BOT 000.
One thing, Brad, that function model BAPI transaction commit, we are not using it either in migration cockpit or also in bots. Is it going to take internally like bots and also?
No. It depends on from function to function, from BAPI to BAPI. Some BAPIs have it internally, some don't have it. I have already shown you. See, it was telling me 1000294 is created, but it's not created. So what? How do we do it here? So what will I do? I will not straight away call this function module. I will go back. I will come to the SE37 level, right? How do I test? If you want to, have you ever tested this? Like how?
Test sequence. Yeah.
Exactly. So I will show other folks in the next class how do
Or even
no migration cockpit. No. We don't need to call. We don't need to call there. SAP
because
does
internally
it.
it takes care. Okay.
SAP does it everything internally.
Even
But
data services also we don't call. It takes care
no, we
internally.
have to call. We have to call, buddy.
Oh,
We will
okay.
because we will go and we will create data using BAPI Bupa.
Mhm.
I will also show other folks like how to test these function models here using this test. You already know it, but for the rest, how to do it in sequences, how to really create a record in SAP using function model that require transaction commit.